All right, guys, what is going on? It's Coach Will, and in this video, I want to talk about what to do when traffic and lead generation for your gym slows down. So this time of the year, as of this recording, this is end of May going into June, kind of right around Memorial Day weekend here in the States. I tend to get a lot more gyms that either aren't clients that are coming to us to solve this problem, or existing clients that have been with us a long time that are trying to navigate the problem and are curious what to do. And so I get the question a lot. So I wanted to just do a video to kind of, go over how we solve for this, right? How do we solve for what to do when lead generation slows down? So first thing, getting into this, here we sit, end of May going into June. And really this kind of repeats itself again in the later part of the year. As we get into like a November and December, it also tends to happen, right? Generally, for most gyms, in general, the gym market, the first quarter of the year tends to be the best quarter of the year. The first quarter of the year going into March, April, and then sometimes through May here is still pretty decent. But as you get to the end of May, especially in the States, which is where most gyms are, and a lot of other countries have a bank holiday on the same weekend, things start to kind of turn a little bit as you get into May. Really, really common. And a lot of this has to do with the seasonal nature of owning a gym, right? It's very interesting, as I've worked with over 1,000 gym owners and have done discovery calls with over probably 1,500 gym owners now. It's become very apparent to me that not a lot of gyms realize that this is a seasonal business, which means there's going to inherently be seasons of up and down. Now, really the seasonality of this business, if you're an independent group model gym, probably hasn't been realized up until maybe the last like 5 or 6 years. And the reason why is because in the early 2010s, during the group fitness boom, it was pretty much like this the whole time. Like it was just like if you opened a gym in 2010, 2012, 2011, anywhere up through 2018, generally there wasn't a lot of seasonality because like the whole market was moving up. It's kind of like the stock market, right? It's like, it's easy to pick any stock and win when the whole market is going up because the whole market has more of an influence on the individual stock than really what the individual stock itself is doing, unless it's like a unicorn company, right? But generally, if you open a gym in like 2010, 2011, 2012, and open it up anytime in that mid-20 teens, this is when like Orange Theory was opening new locations every week. F45 was opening new locations every week. There was CrossFit gyms popping up on every studio. And they were selling affiliates to anybody and everybody who wanted to spend the $3,000 to get one. And then there were a number of other ancillary gyms that popped up during that period of time. And all you had to really do back then was open up. And I know that because I opened a gym in 2010. And aside from me knowing how to do marketing and grow a business, I honestly didn't really need to apply a lot of it. It was literally just being open and we were a CrossFit gym, just having CrossFit in our name. People showed up back in 2010. But when we opened our second gym, in 2014, it was still pretty good. But as we got into the, 2018, 2019, the markets are very saturated with gyms. And also most people looking for these gyms, your early adopters, your innovators, and your early mainstream that were going to be most of your buyers and call group fitness and independent going to group fitness gyms as a provider of that have kind of found their place, right? At this point, most of the people that haven't already joined one of these gyms, a gym like yours, would be considered like a late mainstream or even like a laggard to the market, right? And there are also people that probably aren't going to do it forever. If it's taking them this long just to get here, then they're probably not going to do it forever. It's probably not going to be a part of their lifestyle. They're probably doing it because like something has forced them to, right? Lifestyle issues, things like that. Maybe some social pressure, things like that. Okay, but my point is in the last 5 or 6 years, gyms have generally started to take on some seasonality because traditionally, long before the big group boom of the 2010s, it was known that like gyms were generally going to have a very, very strong first quarter, the New Year's resolutioners, things like that. And in general, like New Year's stimulates a lot of people wanting to adjust for habits and routines. And also with the holidays ending, people generally want to lose the weight, right? And then what happens is you get into May, June, July, the months that we're in right now as of this recording. And what tends to happen is the kids get out of school, right? And right now, group fitness gyms are largely a population of people that are ages 30 to 50, right? And what's interesting is this has continued to age up with group gyms because the group gym boom happened largely with like the millennial generation. As a result, as the millennial generation has gotten older, that's who's continued to go to these group gyms. Whereas like Gen Z, the new generation, the younger generation coming up, that is 25 and younger, they're not really participating at these gyms. There's almost no growth in the group market for the younger age groups. And that generation in general doesn't really seem to have an affinity for group fitness. Whereas like when the millennials were that same age, they very much were about things like CrossFit and competing in competitions, or being a part of a community. It was just a generational difference that's going to really play a big part in the way that these gyms have to pivot, and the whole industry has to pivot in the next 5 to 10 years. And a lot of independent gyms aren't really thinking about this right now. As I try to make that more apparent, a lot of them are like, "Oh, that's okay. We don't serve them anyways." It's like, well, you don't really have a choice, and you can't continue to have a bias towards the people you serve, because they're just going to keep getting older. And ultimately, in order to grow a business, like, you need the mainstream participation, right? This, for the same reason a lot of CrossFit gyms are still in business to this day, is because at one point, a lot of 25 to 35-year-olds were what were making that thing popular, right? And if it's, if there's not a mainstream pull there, then ultimately, like, you're going to have to do a lot to make up for that. But anyways, let's talk about right now what's going on at this particular period of time when things slow down, because that's probably why you're here. So what you're looking at right now on the screen is a Google Trends, right? So you can go to Google Trends and you can type whatever you want in here, and it will tell you in general how popular a term is right now in the general mainstream, which is important because, if you're a group fitness gym owner, my guess is most of the people you serve are average people, right? Are people that want to get off the couch, get healthy, adopt a better lifestyle, right? They want a community. Those are the average people, right? And this is indicative of the average person and what they are interested in right now. And you can see the term fitness is the most popular term that's typed in when people look for fitness-related things. And this gives you a good idea of like what they're thinking about. And you can see right now, or as of the beginning of the year here, the first week of the new year, this was at its peak for all these search terms. This is when all these were as high as they have been all year. And that's because it's the new year, right? And then you can see the first month of the year was generally all above 75% of that, right? And then there was a little bit of a drop in February, and then it's kind of hovered around 75, and then here we sit at about 70, right? So we are 30%, people in general are 30% less interested in fitness, right? So it's safe to say that traffic is going to be down about around 30% because there's 30% less people on the internet in all markets looking for fitness-related things, right? But say we get rid of fitness, which is kind of a broad term, and we just go with gyms, right? Gyms, same thing, right? 100% at the beginning of the year, and it's down now around its low, kind of coming off a low. Generally, June is when it hits a low, and then it hits its annual low. It picks back up in the third quarter, and then tends to drop back out again in November down to its all-time low or annual low in December, right? So you can see same thing here, very similar trend pattern for the word gyms. If we were to get rid of gyms and just go with the word workout, same thing. Beginning of the year was its top, and then as we get to now, we're down about 25%. And then the word gym near me, which is very applicable to you watching if you are a gym owner, you can see it was at its high at the new year, kind of bounced back in February, and then it's pretty much hanging around its low right now, down about 23% for the year. Okay, and then you can come down here and see that certain markets are definitely hotter than others. You can see where it's kind of picking up and cooling down and whatnot. And then we can go and say you're a CrossFit gym, because I have a lot of CrossFit gym owners that watch my stuff. We can look specifically at CrossFit gym. I'm not going to use the word CrossFit because CrossFit, that term tends to get a big bump from people searching for CrossFit Games stuff. If I were to just type in CrossFit, you'll see here that this big bump here aligns heavily with televised CrossFit, the CrossFit Open, CrossFit semifinals, quarterfinals. That's where all that search traffic is coming from. And you're not seeing it with the word CrossFit gym, which is a word that people searching for gyms would actually search in. So if we were to go to CrossFit gym, here you would see it's a very similar pattern to the other search terms, where at the beginning of the year was its top. And then you can see here it's pretty much down here at about 59. So if you're a CrossFit gym, your search traffic is down about 41% as of right now. And you can see it's pretty much hung out at around like 75 down to 50% most of the year, right? And I'd say this lines up pretty well with what most of our clients are seeing, right? So what do we do to combat this, right? This is organic. If we're going to rely on organic traffic, this is important because this is organically what people are looking for right now. So people typing in things like CrossFit gym, gym near me, these terms are all down between 30 and 40% as you get to May and June, right? So, and if we're relying only on organic, this is what we're subject to, right? That's where we get proactive and start thinking about how we can do some marketing to pull more people in from the local market who might be looking for these things at this moment, right? So I'm going to go here and we're going to take a look at this and we're going to kind of break this down real quick. So this is how a business grows. This is how any business grows. And we kind of map this out for a gym because I work with several hundred gyms and I talk about this a lot. So I built this little mind map here to kind of break down the stages, right? So at the bottom here, we have what we really, really want, which is customers, right? Customers in their first 30 days, retain, resell, upsell. Ideally, we're keeping our customers and we're not losing them and they are staying longer and they are spending more money with us as they go. This is the goal, right? This is the bottom of the funnel, right? And then you have a number of stages that gets a customer there that they have to go through. Every client will go through this, every prospect will go through this journey before becoming a member of your gym, right? And it starts with traffic, right? Before someone can become a lead, they have to be a part of your audience. They have to be traffic, right? They have to be prospected some way, shape, or form. Now, if you're just relying on organic, then naturally you're going to be down this time of the year because this is what it looks like right now. You're down, for most of these search terms, about 30%. If you're a CrossFit gym, probably over 40%, right? And so that's what's happening here. So this traffic is going to be slow. So that means the other forms of traffic need to pick up in order to make up for that, right? So if your organic traffic is down, that means you need more referral and word of mouth, right? That means you need to do more and better content. With content, it's not just doing more. The problem there is a lot of gyms, they just start pumping out more of the same content, right? And really, really good content ultimately is content that is going to inform, entertain, and inspire people, not just content that informs, which tends to be what most gyms post a lot about, right? And then through there, it's making sure you're omnipresent and you're on multiple platforms, Facebook page, Facebook profile, Instagram, Facebook groups, and maybe even a newsletter nurturing your existing opted-in list of people, right? And then over here you have paid advertising, which tends to be the easiest way to boost traffic, right? If organic is down, on the other side of the teeter-totter is paid, right? You can spend money, you can give money to platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Google to push your company out in front of their traffic, right? Because those platforms own traffic. They have people going on it every day to do their social media stuff, to see what their friends are saying, and you can do paid advertising. And that's actually not a bad strategy for this time of the year. But understand that this time of the year is also when paid advertising is its least effective. Now, here's why. Is because in general, going from May into June, what changes for most people that are of the demographic that you serve as a gym owner? The demographic you serve as a gym owner is probably active lifestyle, people that make middle class income to above that are aged 30 to 50. Most people that are in that cohort are probably people that at least probably 50% of them have kids, right? Or they're married and they have stuff going on, right? And the summer tends to present a hitch in the wagon that not a lot of people think of, and that's the kids get out of school, right? And that's when people travel. And this is something that I found out in the recent 5 to 6, 7 years myself, because as I have a 5 and 7-year-old, that life changes a lot when the kids get out of school. And in fact, this particular week was the week our kids got out of school, and they got out of school yesterday. And what's today? Friday, the first day of the summer, Memorial Day weekend, the first 4-day weekend of the year. And guess what has changed a lot for my wife? Because that's her, in our relationship, that's her role is making sure the kids get to school and all those good things. She does help and work for Big Little Gyms as well, but she also has double duties in making sure the kids get to school, and if they're not going to school, making sure that they have things to do every day, right? So what has changed in her schedule? Well, everything, right? When she's going to work out, where she's going to work out, when she can make time to work out, right? And that's actually most people's reality, right? So in general, you're going to need to probably leverage content and paid advertising significantly more when the organic traffic goes down. But that's knowing that also more than likely these channels of advertising are also going to be less effective, because no matter how you're marketing to people, this time of the year is generally the time of the year when they're thinking about fitness less, right? If they were going to make a move for their fitness, it was probably going to be in the first quarter, right? Which kind of leads me to my overall point that you generally, like, the best time of the year to push is when the market is good, right? if you find yourself right now, you know, up the creek without a paddle and like panicking a little bit, this is not a good time to be panicking, right? That means you probably left a lot of opportunity on the table in the first part of the year here, right? And ultimately, that's where having a good marketing strategy, a good plan in place, and a very complete cohesive system, right, in place that maximizes your lead generation and also maximizes your follow-up and your prospecting opportunities, and ultimately leads to more people showing up in your door that you can close and convert so you can get them into this last stage of the funnel, right? Where you should be right now at the end of May is a little bit oversold, right? You should be a little bit oversold. You should be, ideally, when I had my gyms, I was always we almost would sell too much through March, April, and May, to the point where like we were getting a little bit of complaint from our clients that maybe the gym was a little too busy, right? And generally like gym owners don't like that and don't want to do that because they don't like getting the negative feedback. But honestly, what's going to happen is that extra 10 or 15% that you oversold is generally going to kind of find equilibrium here in the next month or two as some of those people put memberships on hold, as some of them don't show up as frequently because they're traveling. Some people are going to cancel in June. Some of these things. So you want to be a little oversold going into these months generally. Same thing going into November and December. You generally want to use the third quarter, which actually right now, it's a really, really great time for. We have a lot of our gym owners focusing on, especially gym owners that are coming onto our program, is getting their systems in place to really push on the gas through the third quarter, because once you get into July, August, and September, now it's back to school season. And back to school season is actually a really, really, really good period. It's kind of the second wave of the year. You kind of have something like this. If I were to draw a quick picture here of what the year looks like, if you have the beginning of the year here, we have our continuum for the entire year. You have January here, and you have December, end of year here. You have, halfway through the year, you have the first quarter, and you have the third quarter. The year kind of does like this. Okay, it kind of does this, and then it kind of starts to tumble in the end of the second quarter like it is now. And then it picks back up in the third quarter, not quite as high as the beginning of the year, but pretty strong. And then as you get into October, it's kind of like a May where it can still be good. It's kind of hit or miss. But then as you get into November and December, you find your lowest part of the year, and then it kind of does this again in the new year, right? So the trick is knowing when your seasons are to be setting up and be positioning yourself, and what seasons they are to be pushing on the gas, right? And what a lot of gym owners do when they're struggling and find themselves here watching videos like this is they were kind of comfortable here. Like they were growing, but they weren't really stepping on it, right? And they forget that the seasonality of the business is going to start to knock away some of their froth, right? You're going to lose 10 or 15% through here, right? So this season here really becomes a season of building if you know you didn't take advantage here maximally, right? And if you do that well, you start to step on the gas here through the end of June until July, starting to raise awareness, starting to run your marketing campaigns, building ahead of steam so that way when the market gets frothy again here in the third quarter, you can hopefully maximize this and do something like this. And then hopefully as you get into December, you have something more like this, right? That's the idea, is taking maximal advantage of when the market is moving towards you. It's like right now the market's kind of got a downward pull going into June and July. Whereas like when you get into the early part of the back to school season, it starts to have an upward pull before it pulls back down in November and December. And what you don't want to be doing is you don't want to be fighting against this. You don't want to be trying to market against this. What you want to be doing, if you find yourself in this position, and it's going to take some patience, is ideally getting your systems in order, getting this in order that we talked about previously here, right? Getting your traffic and audience built up, getting organic position maximally. So when you get into the new year, when people start searching for gyms again, not the new year, but when it gets back to school season and local search, because if I were to go and show you this, if I were to go do the same search as I did earlier, but over the last, say, 3 years, custom time range, let's go 22, and this is a little messed up because of the shutdowns. Things weren't really that normal in 2022. They were kind of not normal yet, but 2023 was relatively normal, and so was 2024. But what you're going to find is that things tend to pick back up as you get back into September, just like this little spike here, and then here, October, little spike here. And this does depend on your market, of course, and depending on the search as well. But generally, people tend to lean into the first quarter and the third quarter. You want to be positioned well, right? Okay, so that's what I have for you guys today and what to focus on. And I would say like this time of the year, you definitely want to be focused on increasing the total volume of your traffic, probably pretty considerably, because organic's going to be down about 30%. And when you start going to paid traffic, the quality of the traffic is going to be much, much poorer. When you start running ads, a lot of gym owners have run ads, and if you run ads before, you already know that when you run ads, the quality of the leads you get is much, much poorer. So the traffic that you get from paid is not the same as the traffic that you get from organic. So if you're down 30% on organic, you're probably going to need to increase your paid advertising by as much as 300 or 400% to get an equal number of good quality leads that you are losing from organic, right? Content here is challenging because it does not work immediately. It's not like you make a post on social media. It's not like you post a rock star post and it's just so good that everybody comes and buys tomorrow. Content really is more of like a jab, 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 right hook kind of thing, where like you publish quality content to get people to start paying attention to you. And then as they start paying attention to you, they start to see more of your content. And after they consume either 7 hours or have 11 touch points with you, some of them start to decide that they want to work with you. And they see on average it takes between 15 and 23 touch points for someone on the internet to do business with you, right? That's why good quality content that keeps them coming back is super important. That's why the content must inform, entertain, and inspire, and not just be informative or not just be pictures of people working out, right? Now, if you guys want help with some of this stuff, you want a system for producing content, you want to run a paid ad campaign that is effective out of the box, you want to improve your organic positioning, because even though your organic is down naturally because of the number of people searching, that doesn't mean that you can't improve your organic position and take a higher percentage of the existing market that is there, right? So if your gym, for example, if you're 5th or 6th ranked on Google and you're getting maybe 100 hits a month right now because traffic is down, if we can move you into the 2nd position on Google and triple the amount of searches you're showing up in, your ultimate traffic and audience is going to go up even though the total market pull is down. If that's something you want help with, go to biglightlegyms.com. When you get there, you can see a little bit more about what we do and what we build and what we set up for you as a growth system for gym owners. You can, when you there, click the Get Started button, fill out the phone number, email, and first name field there, and book and select a time. It's going to ask you a few questions about your gym, what your current situation is, what your desired situation is. And then we're going to do a discovery call to talk a little bit more with you about what you hope to accomplish. And we'll set a plan forward to make sure that you're not having to watch videos like this in the coming years where you are trying to figure out what to do when your gym slows down. So if you found this video valuable, please like, comment. That is very meaningful for me. It lets me know that this was valuable to you. And if you want to get more of this content at the top of your feed, click the subscribe button. And even better, if you click the notification bell, I heard it just makes it rain on you when you do that. So you should definitely click the notification bell and make sure you get notified whenever I post a new video. And we will see you guys soon. Bye.